If I actually see Bitcoin used as money, so if I actually see it as a medium of exchange, as a unit of account, if people are being paid in Bitcoin, not having their dollar salaries converted to Bitcoin, but I will work for, a Bitcoin a year. That's my salary, and you pay me in pieces. Let's see how this next bust plays out. Markets crash, lots of inflation, all sorts of problems. Let's see when you have all these speculative assets collapsing, either in nominal terms or in real terms priced in gold. Let's see how Bitcoin holds up in an environment where speculative assets, meme stocks, all that stuff are collapsing.
Do you think Bitcoin as ledger money is there to solve the problem that Eurodollars were trying to solve, which is a global dollar shortage? Okay, quick one on this, and then we'll move on.
Well, the quick answer to that is yes. And so I don't know if Peter wants to talk about it, but
okay, let's take that.
I don't think Bitcoin is going to solve that problem. I don't think Bitcoin is global money. It is a global bubble. I mean, you have people all around the world involved. But at the end of the day, I think people are going to lose a lot of money who put their trust in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin.
What I love about you, Peter, though, is you've been so wrong about this, but you're never in doubt. I mean, this.
Well, no, I haven't been wrong.
45,000.
No. I never said
250,000. What are we going to be doing,
Anthony? I never said the price couldn't go up. I never said the bubble couldn't get bigger. Now, you could say I was wrong to not have profited from it. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, sure, I could have bought a bunch of Bitcoin and sold it out to a bunch of greater fools and made a lot of money. But I haven't been wrong in my basic understanding. Now, we'll see what happens, because I mean, I think you've come relatively late to the party. I think a lot of the Bitcoin that you and your clients are accumulating, you guys are paying very high prices for it. So we'll see how that looks in a few years. But I don't think
Can I get from both of you a sense of when is the never-ending? Well, we'll see. You'll see. I mean, in what kind of time frame will you? I mean, I'm pretty sure you two will be back here, still hashing it out in I don't know, 5-10 years. But when will we be able to make some sort of judgment? What do both of you think?
If I actually see Bitcoin used as money, so if I actually see it as a medium of exchange, as a unit of account, if people are being paid in Bitcoin, not having their dollar salaries converted to Bitcoin, but I will work for a Bitcoin a year. That's my salary, and you pay me in pieces. But when you have landlords, I'm renting this apartment for Bitcoin. I'm going to buy an insurance policy where I pay my premiums in Bitcoin, and my benefit is defined by Bitcoin, not some dollar death benefit, but some actual out of Bitcoin. So if this can actually work, which I seriously doubt, then I could say I was wrong. But as long as it's just a speculative bubble and people
speaking as Mrs. Normal here, I couldn't hear a timeline on that one. Anthony, you can give us a timeline?
That's going to be about, what Peter's suggesting is going to be about 2 or 3 years away. Jack Dorsey and Square are working on a digital wallet. There is applications now being developed for the Bitcoin network, which will allow for that. We know the country of El Salvador has allowed for Bitcoin now to become legal tender. It's a small country, I will admit that, only 7 million people. But what Peter is suggesting is now starting to happen. And again, I just want to point out that Peter and I are baby boomers. We've more or less destroyed our society, wrecked our environment. That's an indictment of all baby boomers. But the new generation coming up are way more comfortable in the digital world and have embraced this network.
You mean they're young and dumb?
And whether Peter likes it or doesn't like it,
or not, we'll find out.
It's happening. But you see, and the network itself has value, and ultimately,
you said that we've got that, and you will get to make. I'm
going to make one point.
I've got to get some more questions.
It's not going to zero.
Yeah, let me make one quick point on the timeline.
Very quick.
Bitcoin has lived its entire life in the everything bubble, right? It started after the financial crisis, Fed was doing all this QE. So it hasn't really lived through economic cycles. It's only lived through a boom, hasn't lived through a bust. So that's another thing. Let's see how this next bust plays out. Markets crash, lots of inflation, all sorts of problems. Let's see when you have all these speculative assets collapsing, either in nominal terms or in real terms priced in gold. Let's see how Bitcoin holds up in an environment where speculative assets, meme stocks, all that stuff are collapsing. Well, I would think that the fact that one man's tweets can have such an impact on the daily price valuation is another reason that Bitcoin fails as money. It's just too volatile on a daily basis routinely, and it's too subject to manipulation.
What about Alan Greenspan and Jerome Powell and people like that, Peter? What about those?
Yeah, well, gold isn't functioning right now as a medium of exchange either, but it has in the past, and it can in the future. Bitcoin never has, so it's a big leap of faith to say that one day it will. But Anthony, just with all due respect, I mean, nobody who's late to the party thinks they're late to the party. Otherwise, you wouldn't come. So you always think that it's going to keep going. But I'm telling you, the police are on the way. They're going to raid this party, and
Peter, when you're buying your Bitcoin at $250,000 a coin, I'm going to assure you that you're not that late.
Don't worry. If Bitcoin goes to 250,000, it's possible. I say it's not very probable. I mean, but nothing's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But if it happens, I can tell you one thing: I ain't going to buy any. So don't look to me to get out. You got to find another passage.
There's a Russian proverb that says, "We live a little longer and then we'll see." That sounds like that's where that one is. What about Elon Musk? Good point from an anonymous attendee. Elon Musk tweets an effect on the Bitcoin price has been a shock to the system. If the coin has value, the network is so vital. How can one man's opinion swing the price so much? The Elon factor. Anthony.
Well, I think that's more evidence about how early we are. Peter mentioned that I'm late to the game, but I actually don't think so. I think we're in the very, very early innings of this. And Elon Musk's approach and his influence on Bitcoin, I think, is evidence of how early we are. There will come a time where no one person will be able to have that kind of influence over the network. But as Elon Musk admitted in his interview with Cathie Wood and Jack Dorsey, he has several $1 billion worth of Bitcoin across his personal account, SpaceX, and Tesla.
When you are using energy to create gold, the world now benefits from having gold that's in a usable form as opposed to buried in the earth. And of course, once I have gold, no energy is required for me to have it, but you have to continuously expend energy to keep the Bitcoin network powered. But also what I'm worried about is not just the waste of energy and other resources, but all of the investment money, all of the talent that is being completely squandered in this crypto bubble. All sorts of very smart people are spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of time, coming up with all these crazy industries built around crypto. A lot of people are investing their money. This is a massive bubble. This is what you call a malinvestment in the Austrian school. All of this being fueled by the monetary policies of the Fed. And so at the end of the day, when this bubble pops, not only are we going to be poorer because people would have lost a lot of money, but all of that talent, all of those resources that otherwise could have been put to productive use were wasted on cryptocurrencies.